Hey, Podnutsians. Welcome to DDG episode 13. Podcast all about DoorToDoorGeek and everything that he sees, experiences, and believes. Because, beliefs, truths, and facts are three completely different things. I will tell everyone right now, first and foremost, I just got done binging Cobra Kai on YouTube Red. I believe it's a YouTube Red exclusive, but the first 2 episodes you can watch for free without, being a subscriber to YouTube Red. And I just gotta say, nostalgia is a disease, but it's also a drug. And let me pull back for a second here and say, to Door Geek, the definition of the word drug, and let me pull back again another second. DoorToDoorGeek has a great many definitions that he describes to himself, and himself is what he believes, and then he projects them onto others. The term drug is merely something that manipulates the chemicals within your brain. Good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. It's a drug. Anything that affects your brain is a drug. Nostalgia is a drug. I went over the, proper definition of the word no nostalgia in the past. I wanna say in the 1880s, maybe 1890s is when the word became into existence. It became into existence because of a really squeaky chair. It became into existence, a doctor observed a patient getting less and less symptoms as he became closer and closer to his homeland. So, nostalgia is one longing for once once was. Can't even say that right. Once was. A person with a extreme desire for the past is what I'll say. And and I'll say I watched Cobra Kai. I binged all, I wanna say 10 episodes? Yeah, 10 episodes possibly. This evening, it's now 4:01 AM Saturday night. I watched all 10 episodes, and I gotta say, first and foremost, the casting of Diaz, which is the number 1 Cobra Kai student in this, series, I thought was really good. Really, really, really damn good. The casting, of course, of the original Cobra Kai master student, which was, mm, William Zabaka. William Zabaka, who was the main Cobra Kai leader. I just gotta say, I let's just say connected a absolute great deal with him. I say that while I pick up a custom Lennox for the rest of us mug while I sip some Johnny Walker Black. Um Johnny Lawrence was, I will say, one of the best well acted characters I've seen. This comes with the caveat. Door Geek doesn't watch a lot of video. Door Geek does not watch a lot of TV. Door Geek does not watch a lot of movies. Period. There's a lot of stuff out today that I just cannot stomach, is what the words I'll say. The last series I watched that I really did like was Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling Glow on Netflix with Mark something. He's a comedian. I thought he did really good, but William Zabaka, I thought did unbelievably excellent in the turbulent nature of the character of Johnny Lawrence. It showed which one of my beliefs, and here's one of the things. For the last year maybe 4 years, I've seen the meme that precipitates that uh, Johnny in the Karate Kid movies was actually the good guy, and Daniel LaRusso, portrayed by Ralph Macchio, was actually the bad guy. But the director's cut made Ralph look like a good guy. I will say I believed to a certain degree that Johnny was actually the good guy. He was just seen in a bad light, is the way I'll put it. And Ralph Macchio was the golden boy who could do no wrong, who was actually doing wrong, but all in the name of good. It's a very hard position to justify, is what I'll say. And I watched Cobra Kai. I binge watched every episode, and I gotta say, it exemplifies number one, first and foremost, that YouTube Red can be a real medium for content. And what I'll say is, I've been a YouTube subscriber maybe for the last 8 months, 6 to 8 months, something around that time. And I will say, the reason I really do push everybody to at least entertain the idea of YouTube Red is once you subscribe to YouTube Red, the number of ads on YouTube reduces to nothing. And it is literally as close to nothing as you could possibly imagine. I click a video, I see a video. I never see any pre-roll. I never see any interpretations of ads. I do see emails come to me pushing content, but they're always YouTube Red content. I have the family plan. Actually, I'm going to admit to everybody right now, I have multiple YouTube Red accounts. I have, because each YouTube Red account comes with a family plan where I subscribe via Google Music. And with Google Music, I get YouTube Red plus Google Music family plan for around $15 a month for, I believe, 6 people. It might be 5, but I think it's 6. And because of that, it basically costs $2 and about 50 cents per person. That amount of paying to remove all the ads from YouTube, to be honest, in my opinion, is unbelievably worth it. With that said, I have multiple YouTube Red accounts because I want to gift the idea of no YouTube ads to a multiple people. So right now there's about 6 or maybe 7 people I gifted the YouTube Red to. Only 2 or 3 of the members are actually family members. Um, I want certain people to experience what I consider to be the pain of YouTube Red. But most of the people who are in that account, I just want to gift the idea of no ads in any YouTube. And watching Cobra Kai, I can clearly say without any hesitation, nostalgia is a drug. And pull back. The way DoorToDoorGeek describes the word drugs, the way DoorToDoorGeek defines the word drugs, again, DoorToDoorGeek has its own definitions for the universe itself. The way DoorToDoorGeek defines the word drugs is it's anything that can interact with self and that can actually alter brain chemistry. And quick little description, consciousness is one of the hardest things all scientists have a most difficult time defining. Here's the way I describe consciousness. Consciousness is a neural network mapping of neurons to a very specific pattern under any given circumstance. What I mean by that is me, myself, I, the thing that I call door geek, is a very specific mapping of neural network the neurons itself being mapped out in a certain pattern under a certain time sequence, because I do believe time plays a very key expression in this thing we call consciousness. That neural network is DoorToDoorGeek, and when I experience something from nostalgia that I cannot help but desire more thereof, it affects my neural network. And when I started watching, the first time I heard of Cobra Kai, I said to myself, "This is not something I would want to see." And there goes my phone. I was not a fan of neural I was not a fan of the original Karate Kid. There was a great many things about the original thing that I didn't like. Part of it was because I knew from the get-go that, um, Johnny wasn't exactly the bad guy that he was portrayed to be. Granted, Mr. Miyagi was what he was portrayed to be. S he was the all-knowing sensei that was able to guide an individual into explicit positivity, and Johnny was Johnny. His sensei, I will say, guided him towards a path that was not, essentially positivity. But as soon as I watched that very first episode of Cobra Kai, I was frigging hooked. It was just the right combination of explicit content, comedy, nostalgia, and original content. Because I will say the, casting for the main character, the main, student from Cobra Kai, I think thought was really, really good. Daniel LaRusso and Johnny LaRusso was their original castings. The daughter of, Daniel LaRusso, I thought just her smile was what got her casting, not necessarily her acting technique, but her smile was able to pull you in hard enough to make you wanna watch just a little bit more. Um, the side castings of the second um, student of Cobra Kai I thought was fantastic. Hawk and all the other people I thought was really good. I, almost didn't like the casting of Johnny LaRusso's son. I will say in the whole season, I will not try to give too many spoilers. I will say the way the whole season lined out, I thought was apropos. I thought it was appropriate. I thought it was the way it should be. I kind of wanted it to go. I knew it shouldn't go, but I was okay with how it went. Um, the casting of LaRusso's wife, I thought was also quite appropriate, and his relatives who worked at his car dealership worked. They brought back also Daniel LaRusso's mom in the episode, which I thought was perfect, perfect. It absolutely worked on that drug, aka nostalgia. I will encourage anybody if you saw this movie anytime before, I don't even know, 1985, maybe. Oh, it's right here in front of me. Wikipedia, 1984. If you saw this movie anytime before, I would say 92, it's worth watching at least the first 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes, I believe, are completely free. The rest are behind the paywall known as YouTube Red. I will just tell you this openly, people. The first 2 episodes are merely a tease. It only gets better. It only gets more dramatic. The production value only goes up. The story only escalates after episode 2. I have a YouTube Red family subscription. It literally equates to around $2.50 per person. I want to say it's 6 people, $15 a month. Less than $2, less than $2.50 a month per person. The absence of ads alone should be enough to at least make people think about it, and if this is a series you at all thought about wanting to watch, I encourage you to at least pay the month. Sorry, pay the month, do it, get it over with, watch it. They have plenty of times during this series where they show you old footage and they pull you back. They literally do everything in their power with both hands to grab and pull you back into what it felt like the first time you watched The Karate Kid. There's been a lot of remakes that I think are horrible. There's been a lot of revampings that I think are worthless. I will say, when I first saw the advertisement for Cobra Kai, I thought to myself, "I will never in my life watch this." I opened up YouTube Red after watching sorry, after on Saturday, May the 5th, I listened to 20 hours and 12 minutes worth of podcast. I was just tired. There was nothing else I could find. So I figured, let me load up YouTube. And when I loaded up YouTube, there was an advertisement right there at the very top for Cobra Kai. I said, okay, whatever. I'll watch the first episode. Um, and I've got to say, instantaneously, William Zabaka played the role absolutely perfectly. There's only so much they could do with that role. There's only so much they could do with that character. There's only so much they can do with that story. But I will say he absolutely nailed it. He was a drunk while I sip on my Johnny Walker Black and my custom Linux for the rest of us mug that you can get from codeforsale.com. Um, I like the way that Ralph Macchio, Daniel LaRusso blossomed is the best way I could put it, because I don't like him as an actor. I don't like him as a character. I never liked him as a character. Right there around episode 8 or so, there was a moment of realization that it was perfect too. They came so close to having some mutual understanding. They came so close to having some mutual respect for each other. Him and William Zabaka, Johnny Lawrence, they came so close to actually being on the same wavelength. And then all of a sudden, everything just went to crap. And that's the way it's supposed to be, is what I'll say. The only casting I did not like was the casting of Johnny Lawrence's son. I just didn't, there was just something there that just seemed a little bit too fake, a little bit too Hollywood, a little bit too prepared for me to be fully in on. But with that said, I cannot encourage people more. Either subscribe to YouTube Red or pirate this in whatever way you seem fitting. You, if there's any nostalgia whatsoever, if you're at all over the age of, I guess, 38, 39, whatever, to when you watch the original Karate Kid, I cannot encourage you more to watch Cobra Kai on YouTube. Um, YouTube Red, I never gave an actual chance of coming out with its own unique type of content, its own unique style of content, its own unique content. But after watching this, I literally give them a solid plus 50% chance of putting out stuff in the future that is literally not only enjoyable to watch, but actually desirable, actually can draw people in. Um, I only hope, because let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. My lord, do they lead you right into season 2. Uh, with season 2, they set everything up. And here's the only thing that I'll give you, and it's not even a spoiler, really. I really hope they give Cobra Kai as much of a chance, as much as a try, as much as an effort, as much as a push into being not what the original Cobra Kai was trying to be. I saw William Zabaka as an individual starting to grow. I saw him as an individual, as a character starting to redefine himself. I like literally was watching it and I felt myself being inspired. And I don't say that word lightly. I literally felt myself being inspired. I felt myself wanting to do more. I felt myself wanting to do better because I saw his struggle. I saw his individual things he was working himself through. I saw what I saw in myself. Okay. I am not perfect. I am not remotely even related to perfect. I am door geek. I have more flaws in any one part of my psyche or my being than anyone has ever imagined onto themselves in any single point in time in the history of mankind himself. And that's why when I saw Johnny Lawrence LaRusso, I was gonna say LaRusso. LaRusso is Ralph Macchio. Johnny Lawrence, I saw myself in him. I hope the people defining, directing, writing this series understands more people connect with Johnny than they do with Daniel. Or as I love it, Daniel called him Danielle. Oh man, when he called him Danielle, I almost felt empowered. Um, I really hope in season 2 they focus more on him becoming more aware of everything in his surroundings and then figuring out a way to distribute it, sorry, distribute it into his students. Because that's what I don't know if they understand yet. More people are going to connect with Johnny than Danielle. Danielle. I'm gonna keep calling him Danielle. More people are gonna connect with Johnny than Danielle, and the ability to communicate what Johnny has learned down to his students is really the thing that could make Cobra Kai a way of life, a lifestyle, a way of being, an answer. Because guys like the Hawk are almost taking it too far, and I love the fact that the Hawk was basically just like a character we saw for a second in the original Karate Kid, and when we see him grow, become what he is in Cobra Kai, I relate also with him a great deal, is what I'm gonna say, a unbelievable great deal. So I really encourage everybody, if you can, watch Cobra Kai on YouTube Red. If you can't, entertain the idea of a YouTube Red subscription. That means no ads. That means no crap being thrown down your throat. And worst case scenario, you torrent it and you enjoy it. Because I truly believe there's only a few things I really do actually enjoy watching video wise, and this hit that nostalgia bone. It really struck it really hard as far as I'm concerned. It was really something that I'm encouraging my wife to watch, maybe in like 8 hours when I wake up. Because right now it's 4:30 in the morning. They did it right. The production value was pretty high. There was no need for special effects. I firmly believe that if you have a really good story, you don't need special effects. Special effects are almost always only there to supplement when you don't have a good enough story. Cobra Kai did a really good job of story. And I will say, I really feel with Johnny Lawrence. I feel with Daniel LaRusso. I'm not gonna lie. I feel also with his daughter. I don't feel with his son. His son's a little turd, needs to get beat up. But I also feel with the number one student, Diaz. I'm almost mad that they chose the name Diaz for the number one student for Cobra Kai because Diaz in UFC is one of the biggest D bags, I'm gonna say, in UFC. But this guy, I I understand him. I feel for him. He's doing what he thinks is right. He's doing what he thinks is good. His mom came to the event. His mom didn't support him. They ended up going to the event. His grandmother admitted on the show that she smoked a doobie before the event, which blew my mind. Um, I will encourage everyone again. A, the warning, nostalgia is a drug. I don't care if you're 13 years old. I don't care if you're 28 years old. I don't care if you're 45 years old or older. Nostalgia is a drug. You have to be aware of it. You have to be wary of it. You have to know it exists. And you have to be very careful when you approach anything that could have nostalgia in it because you don't know how it's going to affect your conscience. Number two, I thank everybody for their support. I thank everybody for coming out. I thank everybody who gives anything to Podnutz. You people, Podnutz would have to resort to the indignant ads, the nonsensical breaks in content every 20 minutes where we say we all of a sudden start thanking a jewelry provider or a bedding provider or a food provider. And let me say this. You have food providers out there, HelloFresh and the other ones, whatever. I cannot believe they exist because the amount of waste I see come through my door, because I was a HelloFresh subscriber for well over a month. The amount of waste I saw come through my door blew my mind. The food was good. The recipes were easy to follow in air quotes. But the amount of waste I got with each product blew my frigging mind. This is 2018, people. If you cannot decide as an individual, I want to go on YouTube and search for a recipe fitting whatever diet you adhere to, and you instead subscribe to some food service that sends you unbelievable amounts of waste through the mail. I don't understand what drug you're on because they're all ridiculous. They're all redonkulous. They're all unbelievably stupid as far as I'm concerned. I can understand if you're a first time cooker, in air quotes, you haven't been cooking a lot. So let me do this food service. Let me do it for a month. Let me do it for 2 months. Let me do it for 3 months and just see what kind of food I get. And then you understand what kind of food is available to you. And then you take that and then you adapt that into your normal grocery store visits, Whole Food visits, Wegmans visits, whatever. And then you start to pick up food of that type and then you prepare it in your way. But to do any of those things long term is unbelievably incompetent as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, they're not supporting the Podnutz network. And obviously, if they offered us a sponsorship, I would tell them to go to hell because I don't think what they're doing is right. I don't think what they're doing is safe. I don't think what they're doing is long term economically sustainable. I think it's very incompetent what they're doing. All we need is 30 seconds worth of learning, and then you can make yourself 90% of what you get in the mail. I will say this, diet is only a term of what you're eating today. Every day you're on a diet because the diet is what you eat. You as an individual have to decide on what you want to eat. If you let others decide on what you're going to eat, it's going to always be incredibly unhealthy or over expensive. We have the business triangle. I'll try to have a link to that in the notes too. There's the United States, as I've been told, United States business triangle. There's a triangle, and out of the triangle, you can only pick two out of the three things. One of the points of the triangle is price or how economical it could be. Two, the second point of the triangle is speed or efficiency of that product being done. And three is quality or how good of a product can you get in the end. We as American consumers can only pick two out of the three points of that triangle. So if we are picking something quick and we are picking something cheap, it is not going to be something of any quality whatsoever. And if you say to yourself, well, I have to have quality and I expect it to be cheap, expect to wait for the end product to be any good whatsoever. That's just the truth. That's America. That's the first world country we live in. I'll try to have a link in the notes to that. I will do everything in my power to have that, but I can't promise anything because it is now 4:30 in the morning. I am still drinking Johnny Walker Black out of a custom Lennox for the rest of us mug that I got from Joe from codeforsale.com, who's a really nice guy who hooked me up, and I still feel like I owe the guy. So I'm gonna take a sip right now. That's good stuff. I want to thank everyone for the support for all the years of support, all the eons of support. I cannot thank everyone enough. I will say you can thank me enough. We as a network try everything in our power to have as few ads as possible. I look at some of the statistical numbers I see, and I see upwards of 10 plus thousand subscribers. Yet I see easily less than 0.1% people actually supporting us. You have a choice. You support us, or we, in the end, have to sell you as a product. That's the truth, and that's the bottom line. And with that, I'll talk to everybody really soon because I got to go to the bathroom. I love you. Bye.